Let me go ahead and get into it. I've been wanting to talk about this because it just kind of is what it is. Like, I'm sitting here reflecting so much so on the reason why I tell y'all about this karmic shit, these karmic lessons coming full circle, these energies, what influenced this shit. This is the weighing of the scales. I'm sitting here reflecting, and the reason always why, like, the divine always tell me, like, speak on the matriarchal. Simply because the awareness and healing, the karma that is coming to everyone and everybody, especially when I tell y'all about the patriarchal, what you're seeing playing out is a warning to the matriarchal. Everything is being cleansed. Everything. I'm sitting here. Like I said, it's just real and raw. And I'm going to talk about this shit on all levels. Emotionally, mentally, spiritually, from the community all the way up and so forth. The shit we support and enable. I gotta tell y'all, the matriarchal mothers. Like, it's so funny how people will call out, and this is for people, this is going, it's somebody I came across on Facebook, right? And I used to sit back and ponder how motherfuckers would sit here, ignorant ass shit, the dysfunctionality, and how people would celebrate somebody. And I get it, how they'll celebrate somebody coming home from a bid, from going up, from a bid, or doing like, years and so forth for selling drugs. Nobody sits there and ponders on the fact of how much karmic debt, and how much they have how much lives they have affected through drugs. Y'all gotta realize no one is exempt. You know how many lives were affected on that shit? We'll sit here and address what the fuck is going on somewhere else, but yet you'll sit here, some people, oh, the government, this, but you will never address the niggas in your motherfucking hometown who you clap, you sat behind, you even dance and party right behind while they were serving you, and just because they were paying your fucking bills or just because of whatever else, y'all don't see the fucking dysfunctionality in that shit. Before you actually support a man who's actually trying to do something through integrity, your dysfunctionality through trauma bonding, through the wounded aspect of what y'all become so accustomed to, through emotional fucking trauma and through emotional pain. It's like you almost love to see not only you, but place these distorted ass men on a fucking pedestal who destroy so many fucking families. Are you kidding me? But you escape through somebody else and talk about somebody else shit rather than your own. That's what this healing does. That's what this shit is really about. There's no difference in the drug dealer and so forth than the other men who do it behind fucking closed doors, than everything else that's associated with it. I literally, in the dream state, was literally picking up on the energy of the fucking cartel. Because y'all don't realize the fucking energy. You think they making movies and shit about this, and I keep telling y'all there's women and men that's so much associated with that shit. Y'all actually celebrate the motherfucking movies behind this shit. Y'all sit here and celebrate so much gangster shit, ignorant shit to keep y'all in dysfunction. And that's everybody involved. You think motherfuckers, I don't care if they part of a mob or whatever, you think motherfuckers ain't got their hands, like their hands still ain't dirty just because they like this? If you know, you know. You don't know what they hiding. You know nothing about this shit. This shit is cold. This shit, it's time to decode this shit. Y'all clap for a nigga, come home. Don't question nothing. Y'all motherfuckers are weird. Y'all weird. Y'all strange. Want to talk about then you be wanting justice. You don't even want to start at the fucking root of where the fuck the justice needs to happen at. Y'all be worried about some other shit. But they ain't concerned about the niggas and women who's serving your children. Well, the police, of course they involved. Of course it's all a part of the same fucking shit. And guess what? And you think karma ain't coming to them too? You think karma ain't coming to everybody? Man, I'll take this shit as a joke if you want to. There's something higher and greater at play here. I used to sit back and watch niggas gain all these thousands and if not millions, destroying the fucking community. And y'all quick to say, well, you know, the government, da 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 da. What about going to the root of knowing the niggas that's in the... Y'all think it's okay to eventually, when motherfucker not serving you no more, when they're not giving you shit no more. Because that's how they get you addicted, huh? When they're not serving you no more. I had a mother, I know people who was on drugs, yeah. They quick, boy, what? They'll turn on your ass quick when you ain't giving them something. Turn you in. Like, come on, bro. I was sitting here, that shit was burning me the fuck up. I was like, bro, I just seen somebody on, I'm like, damn. Y'all get more love, which is fake love, because y'all think it's empowerment. I get second chances, but where's the accountability that y'all be trying to uphold and quick to throw in someone's face over a little simple shit? But these niggas have more effect and influence on the fucking community in such a destructive, chaotic way. And the reason I say I hold a mother so responsible is because some of y'all protected these niggas. Yes, some of y'all protected these niggas. People included. When I say niggas, I mean that generally in the like corporate America, it doesn't matter. Some of y'all know. They ain't making them movies what? The Ozarks and I almost said The Godfather, all this shit. Bro, y'all don't think that's an energy. There's women behind all that. Like I told y'all before, even with the spiritual aspect. There's women, there's people interceding on that shit. There's a duality to everything. There's people interceding on that. Energies, all types of shit. Like, come on, bro. See somebody come home and, oh, yeah. And y'all actually think shit's still gonna be the same. That's some crazy, this shit be wild. And I'm sitting here reflecting, the ones who actually through integrity want to do something better for the kids in the community, because y'all don't give a fuck. How can y'all say these niggas gave a fuck about the kids, bro? It's kids out here right now, and then those same kids, when you think, these are dudes I knew when I was coming up in my early teenage, if not childhood, not like this. Some of them just not getting out of jail, 20 years, 30 years. Come on, bro. Come on, y'all. Really? Y'all didn't ever think some of these things would actually be discussed? Like, really? Come on. We actually think this has been okay. Y'all ain't got nothing to say now, huh? Because some of these is y'all mama and daddy, uncles, and so forth. Some kids now still going through stuff, still hooked on certain stuff. Now you can't do nothing with them. You had your kids running around with the dudes, the drugs and all like this, and now you can't do nothing. Like I said, some of y'all were protecting these niggas out of a place of survival. I get that part, but at the same time, you knew something in your gut knew that eventually, once they got popped and so forth, that it was a wrap. Some of y'all knew And then it really, the whole thing around not snitching, not telling the truth, not being honest. So you will be, that's divine intervention. You get an opportunity to be honest. That don't still mean you get off, because some of y'all still, gonna get your karma from it. But just because you got off in a certain way and so forth does not mean that shit ain't gonna catch up with you later. That's how important this is. Certain stuff might not happen to you, but you never know. Because there's so much still influencing, making sure the kids are affected by that. Making sure they get involved in that. Y'all don't see the influence in that? Of course y'all don't. Y'all not used to men who actually, when they do try to be authentic, because at the time y'all was so influenced by, the guy, you think I've been there. That's why a lot of them could never spin around. No, you chose what you chose with that man, and you thought just because he was making something so fast but not building nothing longevity and sustainable, you actually thought destroying the community and all that other shit was going to be sustainable. Putting that shit out, giving it to the kids and so forth. That's why I knew how divinely protected I was. This is exactly why I'm so grateful why the fuck I do what I do when it comes to my arts and everything else that I'm supposed to express. Because I see the importance of just not only the inner child, the children, but also to come. Because y'all don't realize them niggas was a representation of the future. And now you're seeing some of y'all affected by it right now. Some of y'all right now are affected by the same thing. Some people mama right now. Like these dudes, don't get me wrong, I was sitting there. I used to sit back. We delusional. Like, where the fuck bro getting all this money from? Who is this dude? Whole time, you looking at people, later on in your years, why we think this ain't important to address? Before we go address somebody we don't even know nothing about. You won't even address the root cause. Because how else you going to get through? Like, that shit is traumatizing. And it's a process of also getting through and realizing, like, dang, I was around these cats, partying so forth, whole time. Most likely you know that they were serving your mama. Or they were supplying other people to serve your mama. Why the fuck would I think that's okay? Because I needed my mother, you know what I'm saying? See, that's the thing we overlook. At that moment where I realized my mom was going through that, how do I don't look to the people who were supporting her, who was enabling her? That's what y'all want to overlook. That's what y'all want to overlook. These niggas are agents of chaos. I'm just like, like what? We just look past like that, like that's okay. What? Oh. All this shit crumbling. You can sit here and pretend like it ain't. Now you little fly. I'm with tired of y'all ass. Tired of it. Yeah. You snuck in here. One moment. Sit back like, oh, it's okay. No, it's not. You still see the effects of these people actually right now. I can't get those memories back with my mom or that time back. I'm still grateful, but at the same moment, like, you gotta talk about it. You gotta realize how much this shit has ruined families. And we don't want to call out, where's the accountability? If you ask me, a lot of these niggas that get out knowing what they did, they should be the first ones in line to tell the truth about what the fuck they done. You can't outrun that, bruh. There's some people right now, it's like y'all sitting here celebrating. That's trauma bonding. You don't see the fucking delusion and distortion in that shit? Oh, welcome home. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Knowing what he did, and the only memories y'all really got, and you never question the fact that some of y'all know the nigga was out there putting stuff in the hood. In the homes. These are homes. And so forth. Y'all sat there and clapped around it. The music was influenced by it. Bro, I know, it's so many people I know. Bro, I sat back and look at some of these artists now sitting here trying to influence our youth, talking about certain stuff. I don't even want to say niggas' name because it ain't even work, because it's just like, it's going to circle around to where they're going to know exactly who they are. Like when you really think about trap music, a trap. And you gotta realize how much during the time this shit was influenced. I remember I was in middle school when certain artists from Atlanta and all these people came out. Trap music, bro. I was saying like, whole time you influence and you don't realize the energy and the frequency of talking about this shit and then actually getting involved. And now all of a sudden, now niggas want to act like they so motivated. Bro, you not exempt. This is why color don't make you kin. Y'all won't sit here and want to hold these people accountable or hold a mirror to their face. I will. Because I'm here to balance the scales. If y'all don't see the bigger picture and realizing how much influence someone can really have with you and your children. They don't see how the powers that used to be, it was all orchestrated for that. Now they want to sit here and tell our kids, nigga, you pump years of influence our children to be drug dealers, keys, and all this other stuff into the hood. Y'all don't realize that's still a fatherly influence through music? You don't realize how that's still a distortion in music? And then you got the women who sit behind and protect them? All the movies end the same. All the gangster movies end the same. All the drug dealers get busted. You know why? Because they all working with each other. And they all working with the same distorted ass system. A system of control, manipulation, and so forth. Whoop-de-doo. And you want to encourage your sons and daughters to be a part of that. Whoop-de-doo. 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 You crazy as fuck. Y'all niggas weird. Y'all sure are weird. Whoop-de-doo. Like there's something to be proud of. Whoop-de-doo. That's something to be so proud of. I don't hear y'all here say, oh, my sons are proud. I gotta say this in front of the camera. Hey, don't get me wrong, them passive aggressive neighborhoods, they still the same too. They're not exempt. Because they kids do the same shit. I learned that when I went to a certain school. They just hit it better. Oh, my son's a proud drug dealer. He just graduated from, weed to this and that and all like this. Who do you think supported all? What is this country proud of? Of fucking up their citizens? Intentionally dehumanizing people? Intentionally putting them in, keeping them in what y'all call slavery, work, and all this other shit? Slave labor? This is your country. These are your leaders. This is your king. This is your king. These are your kings who will sit back and don't see the importance of the youth. They don't sit back and say nothing. There's no difference in passive-aggressive people in certain neighborhoods. Nigga, just because you this, and just because you got millions or whatever it is, and you sit back and don't say nothing, you're just as passive-aggressive. That through stressful shit collectively, that you know what's going on, and you know the influence you have, when it comes to the masses about uttering something, I see you play, you no different than anybody else that I know personally. I see you. The energy's still the same, player. I got you. You sat back, ain't said nothing. That says a lot. Malcolm wasn't lying about you niggas. That's why y'all ain't like me. That's why, that's why they want to, what they say, what was that video on? Anywhere they use the term Black Messiah or anybody coming up like that, they try to take him out. Try your luck. I'll be back. This bitch, I was Terminator. Oh, shit. And that's how I feel, too, when it comes to all this shit. Y'all don't realize some of us are karma and balance. Some of us come to restore shit. Where the injustice was, we came to be the justice. Certain stuff you seen happen and you had to move away and go do some living and do stuff and let the divine get you operating and so forth, get you, because some of y'all, because you actually about to be that for those very people. That's why I talk about this shit. I say it right in front of them. Nigga like, what? I don't still look at you the same, homeboy? That shit hit home to me. It hit home to me to see my mama go through that. It hit home to me seeing other people, mamas and daddies, and then still go out into the world and see people go through this shit. Knowingly, like I know people who had a part of stuff. It's just like, you're not exempt, bro. Sis, y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all sit back and y'all sit there, and again, due to your own ego, due to your own self-righteousness, you will sit back there and never say nothing about, the part you played in the accountability that you need to take. Like I said, y'all know damn well y'all was sitting back. And now it's all based on fear. The fear of what? Oh, it's paranoia. Somebody telling on you. Nigga, what you think eventually is going to happen? It don't matter who you are. Right now is not the time to be a karmic. Yeah, right now, I'm telling you. The way these energies are and the way shit cleansing, right now is not the time to be that. But you can be. Your lesson's just gonna come as hard. Even the biggest ones get taken out because they become too bigger than the program. They think they becoming too bigger than the program. There's no difference in the spiritual community. There's no difference in all communities, all settings when it comes to the foundations of a lot of this shit. Yeah. Spirits coming to collect. I'm telling you, I sit back and just sit here like what we've allowed and then got the nerve to try to say, oh, it's somebody else, it's da-da-da, it's the elites, it's this, it's the government. Well, govern your own fucking mental. You knew at a time that there was going to be consequences. Y'all didn't think about how people getting into stuff, you had an influence or some type of, in that moment to say, hey, that ain't cool. Maybe you should hang this up. Yeah, there's also some people who not so much get away, but the universe gives them opportunities to step away and so forth. That don't still mean that they're exempt. Like I said, you actually think people was building shit towards sustainability and stableness? Why do you think the karma is happening to this country? When you see us and the countries all involved, when you're talking about resources and everything is under judgment or in the process of being judged from the higher ups. Told y'all, karma don't miss nobody. You reap what you sow. That's why I don't fear, have no worries about shit. I know exactly what I've been doing. It ain't about being perfect. I just know exactly what I've been going within myself. And like I said, to see the dysfunctionality, how people will sit there and support some ignorant ass shit. Then they'll overlook the men who actually are trying to, or are walking in integrity, being authentic. And you know what? It's so funny now that the tables have turned and the tide has shifted. Now you got these same people. I'm telling you, at the time they thought everything they were doing, they were peaking. They were everything was A-okay. Now so much has shifted and changed to where once they get once those folks get busted and popping shit like that, you talking about people being so persistent and keeping shit afloat, it all collapsed. Then they raise another goofy up, knowing you think they ain't gonna choose a nigga that don't care about that care about himself and his well-being. Man, these niggas intentionally put there. They're influenced by shit spiritually too. Or we gonna use this one. To certain people, y'all gotta realize, when you on this journey of healing and so forth, you can't overlook the shit that's really been transpiring. That's why you gotta even be so discerning, even when it comes to like how some people will still be in the mindset even when you move away and so forth, be watching you because they forget about their own journey. They forget about their own experience. They don't focus on trying to actually be the change and heal and so forth, so they get so focused on you to where they're, again, becoming distracted the whole time. You were distracting yourself all through them years because you was being influenced by men and women, which mostly related to your abandonment wounds. And now you done lost motherfucking 10, 15 years because you thought that fast life and all that shit was something that's gonna sustain you. You think I don't know that? Bro, I know people. Big time. Put shit away. So when they came home, yeah, that's still dirty money. That's still dirty money, player. You told her to hold it and whatever. That's still dirty money. That still don't mean you exempt. Because everybody ain't gonna take it lightly how they can't get their mama or daddy back. Not saying me, but this is a funny thing about how people think they can outrun karma. Everybody, you know, values and feelings start to shift eventually. Once you realize, like, damn, this nigga right here, or homeboy, or this or that. That's why I tell you, that's why sometimes you can go somewhere or think you live in a certain way, and someone could be watching still. Just because they can feel like they're down bad. Or just because they feel like, you know what I'm saying? People hold grudges for real. Over the littlest things too. And the moments we living in with shifting and so forth, a lot of people don't want to see all that boasting and shit. That shit don't scream integrity to me, knowing what you done did in the community, as if you did something to be praised about. Something to be like, oh gosh, yeah, look at them. Oh yeah, you know. And be the same goofy ass, ignorant ass, childlike, emotionally immature niggas and women supporting that shit. I'll tell you, bro. And you gotta realize, like, these are people, when I look at it, never come out of their lower nature. Never rise above, never heal, and so forth. So a lot of things I'm not really shocked at. The only thing I get angry with is the fact, which is righteous anger, is the fact that the ignorant shit y'all support. You can go ahead, bro. the ignorant shit that they support and think I'm gonna sit here and be like, oh yeah, that's cool. Nah, nigga, nobody get a pass. Them days are over with. Especially when you actually care about your inner child, what you've experienced, unresolved memories and emotions. This is a part of it. And then now nigga get out. And some of them go right back and do the same shit. Didn't learn from the last time. Didn't learn from the last time. Then I gotta sit here and realize, oh yeah, I'm so glad. The mom's like, oh yeah, this is why you didn't need to be around them. This is why I tell you, what you're building is gonna be sustainable for generations to come. Like I said, I get it, collectively and individually, people don't see past that, because they only see the right now and they got mouths to feed and all like that. You don't think a lot of that shit was intentionally done so it can happen? Motherfuckers ruin generations. That's what y'all don't realize. The influence on what these energies and how shit is. What you building to sustain generations to come in your arts, in your creation. What you doing? Who challenging you? Who you surrounded with? To challenge you to be better. To do better for yourself when it comes to your well-being. That's why I can't get, this is exactly why I can't rock with a lot of people. They'll be the same ones who be watching everything you're doing, know they be inspired at moments, but then they'll still take a different route. And I'm glad you did, just to show me you wasn't for me. And this is why a lot of them, like I said, in those environments, they are chosen, selected to do that shit. You think deep down they know there ain't gonna be consequences. You got to know that before you, come on now. You have gotten to know that. You got to know that, man. Clapping for these niggas, but won't even sit here and clap for the men who actually, and I get it, because you got to think about trauma bonds, father wounds, shit like that, to where they so used to something, so of course they're going to support. Of course they're going to support the opposite of that, because that's what they're used to. That's what they're familiar with. So that's the energy of these places. One moment. I gotta make sure I unpause this, because sometimes it'll cut itself off. One moment. I had to spray some air freshener in this motherfucker. Shit. So yeah, I had more stuff come up because I don't realize we be needing that unfiltered truth. It's okay to be triggered by it. Sometimes we didn't know no better shit. There's no difference in being involved with people who are part of scamming and you don't know what they really do behind closed doors and so forth. It's just the ignorance and how much we ignore to just downplay it, and now people are living with that same karma, or things coming back full circle to where how important a father figure or someone of integrity is. Don't get involved with that person. But you know what? You got free will. And this is so important. Why? You realize like how important it is as men and women to walk in integrity. Because for real, there is nothing that can make me feel like I gotta go down that route with a lot of stuff. It's nothing. Shit, they ain't no different than the medical system, prescription drugs. People look at that similarly as well to see how much it has affected people. So much is shifted. Y'all don't realize like so much is changing for the betterment of all. It just gives you an opportunity to shift, to change your whole lifestyle. You think I want to see dudes go down or somebody go down that path and realize like you just throw your whole life away? You know what I'm saying? For the money? Just for the money? Just for like to be called a man? These people were literally, you the man, you know. And you know, you gotta see the root cause of even how the fact of the distortion through even how the monetary system is. The media, how it upholds stuff like that. It's influenced in different ways. Like I said, through the media, you know what I'm saying? Force feeding people like this is the only way out through this, and no, the fuck it's not. Just imagine if people was force fed being an entrepreneur and so forth, or going towards other things. It may take a little longer, but it's gonna be worth it. You gotta realize, like, when you're surrounded by the stuff, you present it with it. If you know, you present it with it every day. You present it with it. It's like, why would I sit there and realize like I wasn't presented opportunities as such? Fuck no. I love my sovereignty. I like to go towards sovereignty. And I tell y'all this because karmically, bro, if you keep thinking that that's going to be the lifestyle, it's not. I'm telling you, it's not. I sit back and man, like I said, just not even just that part. It's just the fact of like how the environments, when you think about the trauma bonding aspect, all this is rooted in abandonment and trauma bonding shit. So, like I said, it really doesn't shock me why people wouldn't support this or wouldn't support later on. It's because, again, they're so accustomed to emotional pain. So think about you knowing what a man or woman is involved in and you support it anyway. Like knowing that it's going to eventually bring harm to them and those involved. Meaning that even just the consequences of them going to prison, them going to something, how much that affects a child, how much the absence of his existence. That's a cycle. But you sit back and was clapping for the ones who were involved. I know people who sit there and got business through that shit. They got businesses. And they actually think that they're still not being watched. I was just talking to somebody about that. You think they ain't watching everything you doing? That's just like me. You think motherfuckers ain't watching what I'm doing, hoping how he making a living, how he get money. They just hope he gotta be selling drugs. Yeah, because that's a narrative. But you never think about the ones who don't show you, who are never in the hood selling them. Who's supplying the drug dealers? Y'all don't be wanting to go to the root. Who's supplying the drug dealers? Who's growing this shit? All the energy around him protecting the cartel. Y'all want to talk about shit like that? You think America and all these other people don't got their hands, and all these people don't got their hands in shit? Man, please. Y'all out of the fucking loop. It's all a ripple effect. I don't be wanting to think that big, huh? You still on the micro. Got to talk about the things that has fucked the community up. That has kept people in the trauma bond. That kept them in this loop of dysfunction for so fucking long. This is where the healing happens. You think them niggas care about your mama, your cousin, or somebody getting treatment? Nigga, they care about them dollars. Y'all get pregnant by them. Like I said, this ain't just drugs. This is something dealing with taxes. You know how much shit coming out right now that people they actually thought that just because they were a different complexion, that they actually got convinced that they can actually get away with stuff? Bitch, you was influenced by fucking spiritual forces. You were being influenced. You were dancing with the devil for real. Or the devils. Or the evils. Y'all think that people that on this mass scale, this macro aspect, micro, macro, wasn't influenced by something? Told you mothers, there's a balance. You need to be held accountable too. So you can actually shift your direction. You really want your kids to go down that road? Ask yourself. You want your kids to go down that road? You seen these niggas go to jail, all these people? Oh yeah, there's a ripple effect coming on a lot of other people too. That's why I sit back and be like, bro, you playing with life and death. When you're in the realm of that shit, it's life and death in all things. Because everyone's going to experience. Everyone goes to experience. So make the best of your experience. And how beautiful it is to have an effect in such an amazing way when it comes to that. Y'all protected the drug dealers, the predators that was preying on children. Some of y'all had babies or got pregnant by the niggas just because they were drug dealers. Because you thought he was the man, because you actually thought that was an empowering father figure. You got involved because your abandonment wounds. Same thing with industry. Doesn't influence, I'm talking about the patriarchal here. Baby, I'm their karma. If a man right now, he's not a representation of the divine feminine and masculine energies, if he's not addressing what's going on within him when it comes to his childhood experiences and realize like how much that has had an effect and what the memories and so forth and how it affected him and the traumas and so much so and all these different things that he just overlooks and he's still suppressing just because he's a part of what corporation, this politician, all this other shit. If you think politicians, if you think policing, you think all these people don't have a part in all of this fucking distortion, I wouldn't be here right now as an advocate for the divine. If you just assume that, yeah, what? Telling you, man, y'all, nobody was. I'm here to let you know I'm actually holding space. At the same time, it's just as a strict program or a father figure who's actually, who loves himself, who holds himself accountable, who's walking in integrity to actually say like, There's consequences. Who are you letting your sons be influenced by? Who are you allowing your sons to look to? Industry, music, and all this other shit. Y'all was dancing to certain people's music till you found out they were what? No difference than your uncle, your dad, other people. Like I said, I don't feel shame and guilt around none of the stuff that I talked about. Because I had an opportunity through transmutation or through transformation and alchemy and really doing the inner work to realize, like, by the grace of the divine, had I been going down the same route and I actually see my role and actually see the depths of the trauma, for sure, I most likely would have been right along a part of the old narrative of the old world and crashed out and collapsed with it. Yep. Surely enough. I could have been just like them other niggas out here saying, fuck them hoes, fuck them bitches, they're not valuable at all. But no, that's somebody's daughter before it is someone's fucking mother. That was someone's daughter. That was a princess. That was a little girl before she even got into what she got involved in. And maybe she was influenced. Maybe she didn't know. She didn't have guidance. So this ain't an attack. This is just looking at it from so many different perspectives. A lot of y'all didn't have guidance. That's all you knew. And yeah, just don't think it just happened in the hood. Y'all better believe models, all types of people, don't matter industry, all of them are a part of the similar stuff. Y'all just don't see it. Baby, this is the weighing of the scales. All energy shall be judged and weighed accordingly. I told y'all have so much of what you hold capacity for, what you tolerate, what you allow. You're not tired. You're not tired of that shit. You don't feel worthy of a better life, a more sustainable life, a more harmonious life, a more balanced life. And I say that just to say, if you really were, where's the identity? Y'all gotta realize y'all have influence. Y'all have been a part of, this is a Chiron and Aries aspect. So much to where these are men. I actually pulled this up because it's so funny. What this is revealing, the identity. Chiron and Aries identity. So think about this. The Chiron and Aries transit represents the ultimate wound of identity, right? Self-worth and personal agency. Because Aries rules the self, the ego, and the right to exist, individuals with this placement often struggle with feeling invisible, unacceptable, or chronically unsure of who they are. God dang, boy. You cannot tell me that once you see what I'm talking about, these are little boys who were influenced off of survival, off of thinking this is their only life, and women that were associated with them. Deep down, they are very unsure of who they are. Because one thing about evolution, baby, just from experience, when you look at the inner child, when you actually see the imagination, you think your imagination has anything to do with like the destructive aspect of bringing harm to yourself. Because imagination I look at it as innocence. At the same time, there's still a shadow aspect. It's just like that of a hero, but also the villain aspect. Because when you look at cartoons or certain things like that, they're not just saving the day, they have to protect themselves. So you gotta realize, like, even going back to the savior complex, this is the false empowerment around saviors. You were associated with men who you think they're saving the day. You think they're saving the day from you. Whole time you don't been around a person who is placed them on a pedestal of a hero in the public eye. All from a place of the ego. All from a place of them just wanting to feel seen and existed and is rooted in abandonment. It's rooted in survival. It's rooted in the unsurety of, I have to do this for visibility because I feel invisible inside. A part of them doesn't feel accepted. So what I'm going to give you, this is the powers that used to be. What I'm going to give you something that makes you feel very visible, very acceptable. You know, I'm going to give you this illusion. I'm going to cast this illusion on you and trick you in believing that, you know, you're actually a hero to the community. You're actually not just a hero, but you're a distorted hero. And of course, I'm not going to allow you to take accountability for what you have done. So now a lot of what you're doing is now focused on how you want to be viewed to the world. This ain't just drug deal. I'm telling y'all, from the root cause of career status, people in sports and so forth. This is an identity crisis. It's rooted in a suppressed identity, as it speaks about the core wound. Self-abandonment, the tendency to silence your own instincts and desires and passions to avoid conflict, rejection, or taking up too much space. So, when you think about people who have been involved in stuff, they don't allow their imagination to run wild. They self-abandon their passions, their gifts. And in any way they can run from themselves, they avoid conflict through it. Until something, boom, what they reap is not what they've sown. And so now, when the universe has otherwise to say, you know, these consequences come back around, all of a sudden, you can't outrun now with what you've done. And most of the time, they built this identity around not being acceptance of rejection. You think building what I'm doing brick by brick and all like this, I had to go through rejection because I refused to be what the powers that used to be and influencing me and building identity around what a darker man, an indigenous man is supposed to be? What my mom, dad, even partner, you know, all these other people feel I should be? Fuck that. I'm okay. Rejection is for my protection. Because while you go over here and people please, while you go over here and build things off self-abandonment from a system that will teach you to keep self-abandoning yourself because you're afraid to take up too much space. No, I'm here to take up just as much space as the divine sees fit. And with that, through that, I will reveal and expose and at the same time expand my horizons from the seed that was planted in Monroe, North Carolina, throughout the universe, throughout things internationally, globally, throughout this realm. Just what it is. Because why would I try to compete when I realized the divine was like, no. Let them take up space in what they do there. Let them get that spotlight. But it was all a part of keeping people in the shadows. It was all a part of shit feeding off the shadows, keeping people in the fucking darkness. Affecting them in ways to where it keeps them from coming home to themselves to realize what's really going on. So yeah, when I look at a lot of what's collapsing in the patriarchal, suppressed identity, the difficulty asserting your needs, often masking your true self through excessive people pleasing. Excessive people pleasing, or officially guarding your independence to hide fragile insecurities. I see this in music industry. I see this in the arts. I see that in so much shit, spiritually, community, everything. You don't know how to assert your needs, so therefore you will give off this illusion and build this identity as if you can meet the needs of other people through people pleasing. Isn't that what you did with drugs? Isn't that how you use your money? Paying for stuff for people, making sure this is met and all like this, but deep down, you're still a form of people pleasing. Just to hide your own insecurities, because you have no sense of true identity. You have no sense of true security within yourself. And y'all think that this is distortion of the patriarchal, that the matriarchal reflects. This is the distorted mother who supported this. These are men who come from this distortion. These are men who come from, or who have come from, insecure women and men. But most of the time, when you see people out there positioned like that, they call out the matriarchal because they put the facts online for a reason. They want you to be single mothers. They don't want you to have, you know how much of a endangerment I am to a society like that? Just because they'll get somebody that want the quick money and get stuff fast, you know what they'll do? They'll assign someone purposefully just to try to remove my existence or try to remove me because of the effects I can have on the masses. But like I always tell people, try your luck. So, it talks about imposter syndrome. Frequently second guessing your gut instinct and waiting for external permission to be who you are. Whew. Whew. That's a different imposter syndrome where you can also have glimpses of success, but you don't feel worthy. So you gotta think about how a lot of stuff where a lot of people, they give you this narrative of athletes and doing this and so forth. And that's why I tell you, some of these people that are in certain positions, whether they're athletes and so forth, they still go through the same shit. Y'all don't think they have insecurities? Y'all don't think just because of what the foundations were built on, that it still wasn't built on insecurities? It still wasn't built on a certain identity and image. They're a part of that same patriarchal. They have to really do so much to where they still self-abandon themselves. They're not addressing shit. Like I said, when certain things, like y'all gotta realize, like the oneness of everything. There are people who call themselves or who are seen as leaders, who, you know, when you have so much of a mass influence on people, and the divine has positioned you, and these kids naturally look to you because the influence you've been given, or just the authority, or I would say the power you were given, and you think that there's no responsibility in that. I tell y'all, a lot of people are going to, they do have a rank, but they don't rank as high as some people now. Because when things shift and evolve, they don't have a higher ranking. They may have ranking, but at the same moment, their ranking will be stripped and removed because they refuse to evolve and address the matters at hand, address the injustices. It don't matter who the fuck they are. Y'all always hear me reference sports and all this other stuff simply because these are the people that are they're on the judgment right now. Their heart is being weighed on the scale. This is balance being restored. It doesn't matter who they are. way these trainers are, it doesn't matter who they are. Imposter syndrome, frequently second guess. You think they don't second guess themselves? Second guess their gut to actually speak up, and they fear the unknown of not being in a certain status or be recognized on a world platform. So therefore, this is why you see they gotta go to get permission from people. I don't need no fucking permission to be me. I don't need no permission to be authentic, to be in integrity. They're actually waiting for external permission. And once you realize a lot of people operate in this, they call it mentor. They call it an agent. Let me go to this person. Your gut instinct, you know something ain't right. Y'all don't see how a lot of this shit foundationally has also kept their inner child from being who they are. Y'all think it's just different just because they are of a certain status? No, it's not. They also represent injustice by not honestly speaking up about what's going on because they operate in the shadows. That's why they won't talk about what's going on at the root cause of a lot of things. With them, in the community setting, it's all connected. Because they are a representation of the fruit of the tree of life. If it's a tree of life, it gotta be a tree of death. There gotta be something. Or as you say, the tree of death, as in the roots that give life. Everyone has roots. Everyone, bloodline-wise. So once y'all start seeing past this, then you'll start to realize who really operating in what. They could care less about the healing journey. Once you realize what authenticity is and integrity, it's not about you. You have to shift your mindset around, within and so forth, because you literally have developed an identity around what it is to fit in. I'm here. And I don't feel any guilt, shame, and a need to feel selfish around what it is to justify my existence of who I am. That's the surrenderance and allowing myself to take up space in every aspect, wherever the divine calls me to do. Because in a part of reclaiming your authority, your birthright, and so forth, the healing will have you go from performing, because that's how a lot of these characters are. They're performing on the world stage to please other people instead of being their true self, instead of inhabiting or embracing their true self. Y'all looking at people who operate in the shadows, who don't know how to really be themselves, and don't really know how to embrace authenticity. So what is happening here, as we're at the tail end of Chiron and Aries, you're seeing leadership being pioneered. You're seeing a new wave come in and crash. The wave don't ask for permission to hit the shore. Water don't ask permission to flow. The fuck? It's just as we're going through stuff individually, when it talks about like the wounds that are going on and so forth, this is a collective thing. This is happening within us all. Within us all. And what that means is that a lot of people don't have the courage and strength to actually go and do the shadow work Once you start seeing the bigger picture, that means no one is exempt. Not just the people around you. I'm talking about no one is exempt in the public eye or on the world stage from all of this. Them sitting back, not saying nothing, not addressing something, I get it. But it's going these transits here soon, and they can get a little past when it comes to the Jupiter and Cancer transit because it's more inward, but at the same time, it's really, really going to be exposed here soon when Jupiter enters Leo. Because that's, again, the whole pioneer of what y'all going to really start to see as authentic leadership. It's going to be a duality, of course, because it's going to reveal a lot of people who attempt to be overly confident through desperation to try to stay relevant. No. Tell you the all-stars are here. You have to see and peep game and be discerning because you'll be able to see who's who. It's no different than what you grew up in with people. These people on the world stage, once you start looking at the oneness of everything, these people are no more or less valuable than who you are. We're all valuable. It's just some people don't know what it is to actually go in and see their worth and value. These transits are a part of that. That's why you see like the false empowerment around what have people built an identity around. In the same way they got it is they're going to lose it through the shift. Golly. And I tell y'all the matriarchal, it's what y'all valued. It's what you supported. It's what you allowed. It's what you didn't take accountability for. So think about the healing aspect of that. Being proactive in that. Proactive self-knowledge. Shifting and defining yourself in reaction to others. Again, not trying to fit in. To deeply acknowledge what you genuinely want and need. Girl, sis, mothers, that's gonna change the whole fucking perspective on wants and needs. You thought you wanted a man that was doing this and all like this, whether in corporate, whatever it is, and this like that, but he ain't in integrity because as you heal and start to really identify with what's going on within you, you're going to realize like it's going to shift the whole perspective. Then you're going to have the courage to actually be who you are and align with men like that. Do you know what that's going to happen patriarchally? Huh? Your whole identity around how you communicate, how you vibe, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, as you heal, you're going to realize like, what the fuck? You don't even know this person. You're going to start to see them from a deeper perspective. That the attraction going to go out the window. It ain't going to be nothing about this for a lot of you. It's going to be what's up here, what's in here, and how they discipline themselves here. Because we all know, once you start looking at those energies of a lot of those men who hide their children, who don't uphold the inner child and heal them and stuff, baby, they don't have no discipline. That's why their music is the way it is. That's why a lot of stuff is the way it is. I keep telling y'all they built an identity around this shit. Emotional pain connected to keeping you from not taking up space in who you are as a woman. Outside of just the gender, from you honoring your femininity, from you honoring who you are. Because you represent leadership first as a matriarchal. And in pioneering that, man, this is where the surrenderance goes. It's where someone challenges you to actually, and that doesn't mean in a combative way, because Chiron and Aries is also about how we've been asserting ourselves in unhealthy ways. So all this aggression you got built up, it's to change the trajectory, putting that shit towards your desires, your passions, your inner child, the parts of you that you have pushed away to people please, to please that man sexually, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, in a distorted way. So when you heal, you're going away from all of that. You will not be the same ever again. Then that's when you go through the process of imposter syndrome and no longer self-abandoning yourself and suppressing your true identity. Just saying. You're suppressing your true identity, your authentic aspect of yourself when you stay in the shadows of other people, when you actually realize that a lot of this shit was built on preying mostly on the mother and the daughters. Because once you reconnect to that inner child as mothers, then you will actually want your daughters to take up space in everything that they do, because naturally that's what they're here to do. You will begin to actually pour into yourself and them and realize you were a bridge to them love. Because what you've been seeing in the communities and all this other shit that's been cleansed is that you see somewhat of the little girls out by themselves. I just experienced it with another mother. She got, like, when you see these women have had so many children, they don't know the core of how they really deeply have self-hatred for themselves and men. But they don't get the depths of it. That's why they keep going to wars, this distortion aspect, because they don't know that they're distorted. They don't know that they're trauma bonding. So they keep having children with these men, or more so don't recognize that they are the problem. Meaning you need to solve your problems first before you go out here overextending yourself. Jupiter in Cancer is exposing and expanding that. I know somebody right now going through that. Just talk to a mother. You let your daughter, just the way she's little, I'm talking about 6, and she's running out there with another little girl, 2 little girls, just no attention to what's going to happen to her, and you sit here and express to me that you've been sexually molested or assaulted or abused, and your other daughter has, baby, you're pretty much setting your other little daughter up for that, just because. And I get it, because some women have never had guidance or even people, someone there to be supportive. And this is why I even tell myself I have to be mindful, because I cannot fix people. I'm just there to plant seeds, and most of the times I have to do it through this way. Because I can only drop things, but they still have to do the inner work. I cannot stay. I had to learn through that shit. I had to learn through lived experiences with myself, my lived experience with the women, my lived experience with even with the mother of my children. It's certain things you just have to let people balance themselves, because the imbalance within them has nothing to do with you. It's to remind you to come back home, to actually stay more focused on the healing journey. Yes. I'm telling you. Because, again, it goes back to overly identifying with emotional pain, clinging to the past, financial codependency. Think about that when it comes to a lot of shit, like governmentally, and then even the drugs and all this other shit. You're identifying with the fact of not knowing how to meet your own needs. So now you become codependent on a man financially. And then you don't care if it's rooted in integrity or authenticity. So just because he can supply you, because really some of you, it ain't about the drugs, it's about the fact of you didn't have guidance to actually be in connection with a man who's actually doing something sustainable, and then even the patience to build something. Whether this season you're this season he's that, this season you're going through emotion, this season, it's so many different things that plays a major part in it, because you're reflecting back to each other so many different things, lived experiences, childhood experiences, and so forth. And when you see the core values of that, again, it's recognizing the fact of how you identify them with emotional pain. When you look at these environments, it's all reflecting that shit. I'm brought into situations to do what we call the grid work. To realize certain shit, it's called for you to actually look at this shit and realize I have to have a deeper insight on this. I have to really see this from a different perspective. Because even through my interaction through video with a lot of people, it's still a form of developing some type of intimacy or partnership, mentally, emotionally, poured into you spiritually. So a lot of things I had to have patience with because they're not used to this. People are not used to this, seeing it from different perspectives where we just saw it from this and not seeing this. So again, even think about a lot of you that was involved with that shit. I told you, corporations, business, all of this reflects the same thing when you see the root cause of how certain things were implemented. So you gotta think about even the fact of the emotional manipulation to maintain control in itself. To maintain control. Because think about it, you don't got in this and all of a sudden you never sustained yourself. You never really got to know yourself. You never thought to build an identity around it. Now you don't got all this material shit, you flashing and so forth and all of that. Oh yeah, girl, he give me all this. Oh yeah, he front me this, da 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 da. And you don't realize you built something with a narcissist or you built something with someone who is an emotional manipulator. Because they don't have a true identity. They've self-abandoned themselves to actually fit a narrative. So now you both really are just collecting, building more karmic debt to where now when shit hit the fan, what? He going on the road, sometimes a woman goes with him, whatever it is, all these people are involved, and now you're forced to be back at square one to build what? An identity. And then sometimes people, you keep the drugs, you keep the money and so forth. I'ma wait on you, baby. I'ma hold you down while you in there. Like, listen to this shit. Listen to this shit. And you know what's so wild about all this shit? Me, such as myself, building sustainable through integrity and authenticity. Not saying it was perfect, but learning through the shit and realizing I had a mother who was a part of that shit, who was supporting. I gotta realize I lived through this shit and seen it, but I seen the bigger picture of the foundations that supported it. It ain't just, we automatically wanna look to the people. You gotta look at all of the fucking perspectives of who played a hand in it. So it's like now I'm like, okay, I could have went this route. No. So that's why I say, why would I sit here? And when I know the energy of what it's the patience in people coming into enlightenment or where, why, they still battling with their own vices and so forth. Now they questioning imposter syndrome. Now they questioning everything, second guessing, because before they've been consistent with being something and then they were persistent in it. You gotta realize niggas were persistent in getting what they want when it came to just the money. You actually thought that you were actually, it was an identity around being unhealthily attached to something externally, the money. But when you are spiritually in tune, the spiritual currency, there is no limitations. My imaginations, I can create this. I have notebooks and shit where I write down this stuff. I get so many different things. And guess what? When I want to do, when I feel like it. And you think about a life that people know you paranoid, you laying down at night, you're supporting somebody, people breaking in, people robbing, people doing all this other stuff, you harming other people, the drug, the fiends and all these other people, whatever it is. Now they getting greedy, they impatient, is rooted in them escaping through emotional fucking pain. Drop shoulders. And then you think about the men and all these people and all these, the financial codependency, even through sports and all this other shit, the codependency to the contract. Them wanting more, the biggest contract, this and this and this and this and that. And I sit back and say, How is that not connecting to the bridge of emotional pain to you can give these people this? That's an abuse of fucking power. The financial abuse around someone can get this much for this and you still got mothers. You still got people needs that are unmet. And y'all think that this doesn't reflect their leadership? That people who are normally in position where they can change the narrative that y'all call and uphold as leaders, politicians, community people that y'all call leaders, they all represent a distortion. And they don't care about you. You think as much as greed is connected to financial codependency, emotional manipulation to control you and the masses to who gets what, who gets this. It's the same thing in the industries and all this shit. This person get a contract for this person gets this. Just because this person is the reflection of this and this, we gotta give them more. Who's giving them more, you ask? Why are you getting this much? Y'all think that this shit is actually divine? Now, don't get me wrong, it's divinely planned out, it's orchestrated. But what? There's no abundance in that. So anywho, like I said, I get it why some people were in and a part of certain things. It's no difference in people, passive aggressive communities, like I always call out. In any way they can keep their family fed and all like this, and they build their business on self-hatred, hatred of self. What makes y'all think the energy isn't distorted just simply because they know they built it off something to prey on other people, to keep other people at a place? When you think about slave labor, it's the same shit. It's the same shit, pennies on the dollar. Now everything is being exposed to how people are going to live, how people are going to feed their family. Resources. All of this is the weighing of the scales, baby. This is your kings. This is your leaders. This is who you. Peace.